Welcome to Fraser Mac Gaming News. I'm Fraser Mac. This series is all about the latest news for the modern gaming, retro gaming and the indie gaming scene. May is upon us. It's a huge month of games. It's so big I've had to make two separate videos on what is coming out on your Nintendo Switch. The eShop is getting more games coming from indie developers, so I put together my list of what games you should be looking out for, and I'll give you my personal recommendations on what to buy and what are the real highlights for the month of May on the Nintendo Switch eShop. First up on May the 3rd is Don't Die Mr. Robot DX. When I first saw this, I have to say, I thought, this looks like a mobile game, I'm going to stay well clear. And then I realised it's from the crafty guys at Infinite State Games. It is pure Mr. Wazo inspired addictive arcade clubbing robot snake action. That's a hell of a mouthful, but it's also a hell of a game. There are multiple game modes, lots of unlockables, very addictive arcade gameplay, and you will just be sucked in from the moment you start playing. So if you want to pick this up, it's around £7 in the UK, $9 in the US. It's out May the 3rd. Don't Die Mr. Robot DX, and you will just love this game. If you're itching for some Streets of Rage and Double Dragon inspired action, then Rage Injustice is the game for you. It's a 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up harking back to the golden age of Mega Drive and Genesis games. I was a massive Streets of Rage fan and played the co-op to death with my big brother. There are 3 playable characters in Rage Injustice, updated graphics to give a more modern feel, lots of epic action, awesome weapons and big boss battles. You've even got local co-op and online leaderboards. Rage Injustice arrives May the 8th, $9.99 in the UK and $14.99 in the US. Garage is an 80s B-movie inspired top-down bloody horror shooter. It was highlighted by Nintendo in the Nindies showcase back in March, and it arrives exclusively on Switch May the 10th. It's drawn comparisons with Hotline Miami, but as soon as I saw it I had flashbacks of Dead Nation, which I loved playing on the PS3. It's a grinding game where you play as a washed-up drug dealer who has to fight off hordes of mutants and zombies. It has big bosses galore and lots of action. The mature content makes a change from your usual Nintendo fare, and Tiny Bill's brutal horror game is out May 10th, $15 in the US and $13.49 in the UK. If you had to guess what a Spanish indie developer would produce, you'd be hard-pressed to come up with a redneck roguelite first-person shooter based in Egypt. It sounds crazy, but Creamer Games have produced something very unique and it looks cool. You're an immortal mummified redneck who died in an unfortunate accident, and you must fight your way through the 3 monster-filled pyramids of Giza. You've got old-school Doom gameplay, a diverse skill tree, 50 different weapons, a variety of enemies, and huge bosses. With lots of replay value, this looks like another game to pick up when it arrives on the eShop May 10th, $16.99 on the UK on pre-order and $19.99 in the US. From one of the strangest concepts for a game to another, Suicide Guy. Yes, Suicide Guy arrives May 10th. A story-driven game set inside the dreams of the main character. You must use everyday items in physics-based levels to solve original brain teasers. Engage that grey matter of yours and work your way through 25 levels inside Suicide Guy's mind. There are lots of creatures to annoy, vehicles to drive, and collectibles to find in this game. That has nothing to do with suicide, or depression, or being sad at all. But it's called Suicide Guy. $7.19 in the UK and $7.99 in the US. It arrives May 10th on Switch. Hyper Sentinel is another epic 2D shoot 'em up and it arrives May 11th. I say another because I love shoot 'em ups and I'll play almost any shooter that comes to Switch. This is a retro pixel popping Euro dance fueled adrenaline ride with super fast 60 frames per second gameplay. I'd love to play the music to get you ready for the weekend or to just be really pumped for taking out the trash, or whatever you're doing right now. Featuring lots of power-ups, awesome weapons, online leaderboards, 60 medals to complete, 12 intense levels with massive boss battles and multiple graphic options for Spectrum, Commodore 64 and CRT lovers alike. I can't wait. I've pre-ordered it already and I'll do a full review at some point whenever I get the chance to record it. $8.99 on pre-order in the UK and $12.99 in the US. Hyper Sentinel arrives May 11th. Death Road to Canada is a retro randomly generated road trip RPG. You play as a car full of weird characters exploring cities that are overcome by zombies. Hordes of up to 500 zombies can hunt you down at once and you must decide whether to fight, sneak past them or run for your life. It has 2-player local co-op, you can control up to 4 characters at once and you can even put yourself or your friends and family in the game. Not literally though, because that would be weird and kind of horrifying. You have to make decisions that affects the story, manage your characters, and use awesome weapons and strange abilities to fight your way past the zombie hordes. Apparently you can even teach a dog to drive. Why you'd want to do that I don't know, but there are carts and dogs and horses and all sorts in here. Death Road to Canada was delayed out of respect following the terrorist attack in Canada in April, so props to them for showing some sensitivity and not going for some weird cash grab PR stunt. Death Road to Canada, it looks awesome. It's out May 8th in the US, $11.99, and details are kind of sketchy in the UK. Wizard of Legend is up next. It arrives on the 15th of May, and it's a game I hadn't heard much about until I saw it on Switch Force. So thanks Gabe and Zach for the tip. I loved the trailer Contingent 99, so I'm going to play pretty much the whole thing just to show off how awesome it looks. Please don't mark me up because I'm just loving your work. Wizard of Legend is a super fast-paced action-adventure dungeon crawler with magical combat. You have to keep moving, unleash spells, and chain them together to unleash insane magical power combos on your enemies. This is Contingent 99's debut project. It's all done with lovely 16-bit classic SNES-style graphics. It's got an awesome retro vibe, a unique setting that should help it stand out from all the indie games that are out there on the Switch, and I just can't wait to play it. It just looks fantastic. It's all about fast-paced hack-and-slash action. You've got to explore the randomly generated levels, find new items, and it has 100 unique elemental spells to unlock. There's lots of customization options, including relics and outfits to unlock. You can play 2-player local co-op, and it offers endless replayability with the randomly generated levels and the combination of random and pre-crafted rooms. You'll find a new challenge every time, and this to me is such an exciting game. It could be a real smash hit. It releases 15th of May, $13.99 in the UK and $15.99 in the US. I remember the 16-bit era, and I have awesome memories of 2D platforming games. Finally in this list we have a retro 2D action platforming game with puzzle elements. Fox and Forest is a Kickstarter funded game that has a very colourful and nostalgic art style. It's set within a mystic forest and inspired by games like Ghouls and Ghosts and Wonder Boy and Monster World. I'm liking it already. There's lots of these games on the Switch, but none of them have a fox with a magic melee crossbow that can use the powers of the season to switch between 2 environments on each level. There's awesome combat, there's lots to explore, and you can find hidden bags of loot, bonus levels, and powerful potions. Fox and Forest is releasing on Switch May 17th. It's €19.99 and $19.99. Have you ever wanted to live the life of a Viking? Well, now you can, with Die for Valhalla. It arrives on the 29th of May and sees you playing as a Valkyrie. You can take control of heroes, monsters, and other things to help save the Vikings. You can play the game in 2 different ways. There's a straight up beat 'em up mode with a large procedurally generated world to explore, and it has a more friendly difficulty level. There's also a roguelite which involves a smaller world but has the usual increased difficulty and permadeath. There's more than 10 Viking clans and 7 Viking classes of characters with unique playing styles and combos. There's 80 skills to upgrade your character with, and you can play 4-player local co-op. There's a deathmatch challenge and also a survival challenge where you can compete with your friends. If you want Die for Valhalla, it's out the 29th of May, $10.99 in the UK, and it's $9.99 in the US. Yes, I know, Owlboy's been on the eShop since February, but I've got a great excuse to speak about it again. It's getting a physical release at the end of May! Yay! So, May 29th, Owlboy's getting a physical release. It's a beautiful, charming, just lovingly made nostalgia fest. It's kind of brought a slightly modern touch to that 16-bit style pixel art. D-Pad Studios, they took almost 10 years of toil and struggle to perfect the game, and they wanted to really spend all their time and just craft the best quality game they could, and they thought the fans deserved, just the absolute best version of their game. So you play as a young mute human owl hybrid. He's called Otis. His village is attacked by a band of pirates, and you must work together with your friends to save the land of the sky. And you also have to prove your harsh and downright abusive mentor wrong, because he's just not a nice guy. The fly mechanics in it are just awesome. The sheer beauty of the world that's been created, it's just so much fun. Action platformer. It is a little bit slower in the gameplay than some of the games you might have played on Switch, but it just looks amazing. It plays really well, and it just brought a giant smile to my face. It's had great reviews from reviewers and fans alike. It's one of the best rated games on Metacritic. It's just an absolute classic. Get a physical copy. I've ordered mine already. If you want a digital copy, it's already out there, but May 29th. What happens if amazing artists, a cute family-friendly postman, pinball and open-world platforming collide? Yoku's Island Express is what happens. It may sound a strange combination, but in this visually stunning game, it might just work. Pinball platforming and adventure is a unique selling point for any game, and it really stands out on a crowded eShop. It looks amazing, it has non-linear gameplay, so you can choose your own path through it. You can travel through tropical beaches, lush jungles, snowy mountains, mysterious caves, and steamy hot springs. With interesting characters, multiple storylines, and epic boss battles, this looks like a really interesting game. It arrives 29th of May, $14.39 in the UK, and $17.99 in the US. Last but definitely not least on this list is a stunning new puzzle platformer, Shift Quantum. I featured it in my top 5 Nindies. I played EGX Res, so go watch that video. It looks like the Sin City graphic novels and films, which I think are just amazing. It is a really unique game style based on the ability to change and shift the dynamic into negative space to exit through doors. You'll need to engage your mind and obviously use the shift mechanic to try and overcome obstacles and escape through the exit doors. You're doing this to try and get out of a computer generated mind control. There's all sorts of secrets behind the story that are to be discovered, and it's just a fantastic game. You know, it played really well, it looks fantastic, very unique, and I really enjoyed it. So it's coming out May 29th. Last but not least, definitely a game to get on day one, Shift Quantum. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the videos. Have I missed anything out from the content on this month of games that you should look out for on the Switch, on the eShop? You know, what are your personal highlights? What games are you looking forward to? And that's enough for this video today. Check out all my social media. You know, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you know, on Patreon if you want to help support the channel. Join the Fraser Mac clan, help it all grow. If you know this is your first time, hit that subscribe button down below, you know, turn on notifications, and check out all my other videos as well. So thanks for your time, I hope you enjoyed it, and enjoy the games coming out in the month of May.